Arts Weekly, celebrating regional expression, performance, and creativity, is brought to you in part by the Edward D. and Ione Auer Foundation, the Ian and Mimi Rowland Foundation, the family of Dr. Christopher and Kirsten LaSalle, and the support of viewers like you. Thank you. This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. In the second half of the show, we'll meet Diane Shaw and Amy Lackey to hear all about the Fort Wayne Civic Theater's production of 9 to 5. But first, I'm joined by Allison Ballard of Fort Wayne Taiko. Fort Wayne Taiko is looking forward to presenting their Knock on Wood concert Sunday, November 3rd, and I'm excited to learn all about the next program. Welcome to Arts Weekly, Allison. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I must say one of the greatest pleasures I had last year at IPFW was hearing your Taiko drum concert in Walb Hall on the campus of IPFW. I'd never been to a Taiko drum event. I had no idea what to expect. And for those of us in the arts, to go to something we've never seen before is usually breathtaking, and it was.
Well, good. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Tell me a little bit about Taiko. What is Taiko?
Taiko is a drumming and movement form based on Japanese tradition. And what I love about Taiko is the movement is as important as the rhythms being played. The drums are very, very large, and we play them in different positions, in a horizontal position, in a vertical position, in a diagonal position, in a high horizontal position. We play them standing up with sticks, and we use choreographed arm movements, and we also maintain our rhythms as an ensemble while we dance and move from drum to drum. So it's very aerobic.
Yeah, that it is. But I was sort of just taken aback at the size of the drums. I mean, they are really, really large.
They're really big.
They're really big. And if I'm not mistaken, some of the players were on stepping stones, or were they on the ground, all of them, or did some of them
usually
have
we're on the ground. Sometimes depending on the space or the piece, we may have a prop that changes our height, but usually we're on the ground.
Yeah, and I'm surprised to learn it's choreographed. I don't know that I knew that about it. So all the arm movements and hand movements are choreographed.
Many times. Sometimes we'll move into an improvisational segment. That's certainly part of the art form as well, but much of it is choreographed. Even the vocals, there's a ki that we use similar to the sound used in martial arts, and it's often choreographed as well.
And how many of you are drumming at a time usually?
It can depend. Frequently 3 to 20.
20 drummers?
Yes.
And so if you say sometimes it's improv, does that mean that you're actually playing from music, or you're playing from something you've rehearsed? How is it that...
Well, improv as a structure, we'll rehearse an improv structure, and we codify the structure in some way, and then we practice that, and frequently it starts to kind of become set, because once something emerges that feels good, that you like, you find you sort of keep repeating that. But it's improvisational in nature at times, where it's not composed or choreographed. It's just during this next 4 measures or whatever, we're going to do an improv, or you're going to improv first and then you're going to improv, and so that section may not be composed. So
if the music's codified, does that mean the choreography or the arms are codified as well?
Frequently,
They are?
Yes.
Wow. Well, how did... It's a Japanese art form.
It is.
And how did Allison Ballard become Taiko, expert?
Yes.
When did that start?
Yeah, 1992. It was a very clear moment in my memory. I went into a Taiko show that was being presented by the Fort Wayne Dance Collective. They brought guest artists from Vancouver, Canada. I had no idea what to expect, had never heard of Taiko. I just walked into the Performing Arts Center and sat down and was just completely mesmerized for the next 2 hours, just sort of my mouth hanging open, and I thought, that is what I want to do. And then it wasn't until 1997 that I got to see another Taiko group that Fort Wayne Dance Collective brought in, and I spent a lot of time with that group, and just decided at that point, I just really want to do this. And I wasn't in a position to relocate, so I told the artistic director of the Fort Wayne Dance Collective, let's start a Taiko group.
And
she was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, no, let's start a Taiko group.
Do you open a book? Do you like watch a video? I mean, you could do it on YouTube, but how do you start in 1997
Yes,
to start a Taiko?
so we started building drums because
you
we
build
needed
them.
drums.
You don't
yes.
go online and order a
No,
big
they're
drum
too
to be
expensive. I mean, if we had the money, we would, but we
Right.
don't have
So
the
you
money.
build them.
We build them. We built
Wow.
them out of whiskey barrels, and we used directions online. I mean, it was really humorous. It took us
Right.
2 years to build the first drum, and it was just like an ongoing sitcom, and got my hair caught in the belt sander, and yeah. And then we didn't know how to play it. I mean, not well. So I traveled to California and studied with some Taiko masters there, and brought back just a few skills, and started practicing and teaching what I knew to a very small group of people. And that was 15 years ago.
Wow.
So 15 years of doing that, we've continued building instruments. We've continued traveling and studying with masters and bringing guest artists here, and our skills have grown, our repertoire has grown.
You do seem to travel.
I
in
have
order
to travel
study,
a lot to study.
yeah.
There's no Taiko teachers here. I mean, we teach, but there's no one to teach
I was gonna
us.
say,
Yeah, we
hello.
teach. We
I'm
teach.
sitting with a teacher
Yes,
now, I would think.
But there's no one to teach us. So
Right.
for us to study, we have to travel or bring people
Right,
here.
and mainly California.
Yes, although
But
we went to Japan this summer.
You went to Japan this
We
summer. A
did.
core group of the Taiko
4 of
drummers.
us went.
4 of you.
It was a very big deal.
And quite a trip. You went.
We were there for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
We flew into Kyoto, where we were there for 3 days as tourists. And we then went to Matsuyama, where we studied Suigen Taiko. And we then traveled to Hiroshima, where we studied a very traditional form of Taiko that we were working with music that's 800, 1,000 years old.
Wow.
That's been passed down through generation after generation. And we were studying with Munakata Sensei, who is an atomic bomb survivor and dedicated his life to promoting peace through Taiko and no theater. So we were really blessed to be able to work with him.
We have images that we're showing on television right now
Yeah,
of some
there's
of your
Munakata Sensei.
What I love about the images is that y'all are working.
Oh, we're working hard.
Sweatpants, towels around the neck.
Oh, yeah. We were
There's
not
no
there
breaks.
vacationing.
Yeah.
No, we were exhausted and really hot and exhausted all the time. But it was good.
When I watched the concert, one of the things that I was so impressed by was the seeming cathartic nature of it for the players or the drummers.
Yeah.
You know, they do say that drumming can be sort of a spiritual journey for people. But I was also interested in the fact that you're all women.
Well, and that's not by design. That's just the way it's turned out. Apparently, in our community, it's middle-aged women who want to bang on big drums. I don't know, but we're open to having men join us. We would love to have men join us. I mean, we're open to anyone who would like to join us. But it seems like when it comes down to it, the people who stay with it, at least right now, have been
middle-aged women.
Middle-aged women who really
I
want to bang
meet
on
the
big
first
drums.
man that sticks with the middle-aged women and their big drums having a concert. Now you have a concert coming up, November 3rd. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Tell me a little bit about that.
We tend to do one large theater performance every year. It takes an awful lot to pull off a theater show, so we don't do it more often. We do a lot of festivals and schools, but we only do one big theater show. It's a gift we give to the community and to ourselves. And we're always excited to do it. This year we're featuring a lot of the music and experiences that we had in Japan. We're sharing photos that we took in Japan, and we're sharing stories of our trip to Japan, as well as some of the music that we learned.
But it's not just the drummers, it's a large collaboration.
It's a large collaboration. We have a cast of 25 drummers, including children that we teach in our outreach programs and other people we teach in our studio classes. But we also are inviting Dan Quinn, a live guitarist, to join us, a classical guitarist. We are having the Towns of Harmony a cappella women's chorus join us. Wow. And we're doing a traditional Taiko song that's being layered over Jason Mraz's I'm Yours, a rendition of that music. So that's really fun. We have guest artists coming from Kalamazoo. The woman who was our guide with our trip to Japan is coming.
Oh,
along with
Japanese?
She's a Caucasian woman who lived and studied in Japan for 7 years, and she connected us with her teachers there. So she's coming along with one of her students who was also in Japan with us. So it's actually a very large cast, and it's a layered show. It's textured with movement and song and vocals. It's not just drumming.
Hence the idea that it's a theater concert.
Yes.
You call it because it's many different kinds of art form. Multidimensional.
Yes.
Yeah. Where's it performing?
University of St. Francis North Campus Auditorium, not the downtown Scottish Rite, but
that
the North Campus
would be
on
on
Spring Street. Correct, across from the Bass Mansion.
Okay, terrific.
Sunday, November 3rd at 2 o'clock.
And
Tickets are $15.
Uh-huh.
You can buy them at the door, or you can call the Dance Collective at 424-6574 and get them.
Are you guys is the Dance Collective umbrella?
We
or
are a program of the Fort Wayne Dance Collective.
Okay.
Yep. And we operate out of their studios, and we share their studio space, et cetera, et cetera.
And how do you get funding for your just your concert, or we
work really hard and pray
Yeah.
a lot, and a lot of the concert is being funded through admissions.
Right.
So, we're
Right.
really hoping people come to the show. We're hoping to, break even. We don't make money off this.
No.
There's
it's passion.
Yes, it's absolutely passion, fueled by will and desire and pure joy.
Yeah. What are
Pure
some of the
joy.
themes people can expect to walk away from this concert?
They're going to definitely walk away with an exposure to Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme of the show was water.
Oh.
So we're making a real connection between Taiko as an art form and our relationship with Taiko and our journey as Taiko drummers and water. And some of the connection being that water provides vital sustenance to living things. And for us as Taiko drummers, you get to where you spend time with that drum and the big resonance of that drum, and it definitely becomes a vital part of your life.
Was your trip to Japan, were you inspired by some of the things that happened in Japan for the ideas behind this concert? Or was this in the
Absolutely.
play before you went to Japan?
Well, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It's not like we decided to do it
No.
once we got back, but we hadn't really zeroed in on the song set or, what groups we were going to really ask to collaborate with us or those kinds of things until some of that planning occurred while we were there as experiences unfolded and we were there together to brainstorm. And then when we came back, some of that planning took place at that time.
Will any of your teachers from California make it to the concert? Do you videotape it at all? Or
We do videotape it. No, none of our teachers from California will make it. We do share information via DVDs or online or something with them. And the interesting thing about that is they always give us feedback, which is what they should do, and we're
Right.
happy to get it. But
I know.
sometimes you just
Painful.
want to say,
I know.
"Wow, can you just enjoy the show?"
That's exactly. I don't want any more notes about where my elbows were
Exactly,
and
I
where they
just-
weren't.
yeah,
I don't want to
just-
enjoy it.
yeah.
All right. Well, can we just tell again? It's the dates of it are
November 3rd, Sunday,
Great.
at 2 o'clock at the University of St. Francis North Campus Auditorium.
Great. And tickets can be, you can get ticket information is 260-424-6574 for purchasing tickets for Knock on Wood, Fort Wayne Taiko Drummers, University of St. Francis North Auditorium, Sunday, November 3rd at 2 p.m. Allison, thank you so much for
you.
joining me on Arts
Thank you.
Weekly. It's really great to have you, and it's nice to meet you. And I hope everybody comes out because it's an
Me
exciting,
too.
it's an exciting afternoon. While we get ready for our next guests, Diane Shaw and Amy Lackey, please take a minute to view our performance calendar of what's coming up in our area. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll be right back to hear more about the opening of Fort Wayne Civic Theater's musical production, 9 to 5.